Aloha, Mother Fathers. Welcome in another episode of the Side Hustle Wrestling Podcast, all across all the different streaming platforms. Kyle, Cornell, BA Anthony Alford with you. Hey, we have a table.
We have a table. We look semi-professional now.
And then you look down and see a sloth in between us.
I said semi-professional. I said a little bit. He's earned a seat at the table. I don't know if it's at the head of the table, but he's earned a seat.
Technically, he is centered.
Yeah, pretty much centered. No more bar stool. Now centered in. But let me tell you, we have a lot. It's great to be back. Here's the crazy thing. From what you guys seen, we did new stuff every week, which we did. But we have not been in the studio, I want to say, in almost 3 weeks.
So AA said he was going to wait to break the fourth wall until he asked for a Cavs score because, we obviously record Wednesday evening and this airs Thursday morning, early afternoon, that kind of thing. But it's good to know in the first 2 minutes of the show you decided to break it already and tell people we weren't here for 3 weeks.
Well, I was inspired by Triple H. When the moment that he said, babyface, heel, like you're in, like you are in this business. Like this is, it's mainstream.
Just a bit inside.
I was motivated. Next, he's going to talk to us about Christmas. But we won't do that here. I'm telling you. He's like, oh, that's mainstream. But no, we have a ton to get through here, and that's the rundown. Honestly, in order to keep this show time sensitive wise, we may or may not get everything in. This is literally a lot of stuff that we're going to get into.
This is my bone to pick week.
You know what? Honestly, we're going to do our sweet moment, just the overall scope of things. But I felt like the reaction to Monday Night's Raw, complete wide-ranging. And we'll get to it. We have not discussed with each other our reactions before the show, so we're going to get a Raw.
We kept it pure like a 13-year-old in the 1400s.
yeah. Not in 2025. No.
That's a virgin joke for anyone that was... Pete's like, what do you mean?
No, but we have not discussed.
Pete was knocking boots when he was in the single digits, so things were different back in the 20s.
Man, good job there, man.
Ain't calling them roaring 20s for nothing.
Hey, man.
He had the ladies roaring in the 20s.
Did you miss me? Did you miss me? Holla at your boy! Okay, all right.
It is way too late for you to yell.
Solely, oh boy, forget the fourth wall. You're watching whenever you're watching.
That's
or
the
listening.
beauty of a podcast. You don't have to watch it live or when it first comes out. You could bookmark it if you subscribe on YouTube, which please do. I mean, you can catch the podcast whenever you want. You get a notification now. You watch it late Thursday. You watch it Friday. It doesn't matter. We got you covered.
So we're going to talk about really, I guess, what was the whole purpose of last Monday's Raw? And did it accomplish what you wanted to accomplish? Because I think it's completely different scope among different forms of fans and everyone involved. So we're going to talk about that. We have to discuss Dwayne. And we have to discuss Dwayne with somewhat of decorum here because Dwayne is inside the joke here, but we still need to discuss it. So we will discuss The Rock. Also, the aftermath of Roman and Solo. Couple of things out of that. And yes, we will get to Hulk Hogan. And yes, we will get to a lot of other things that transpired on Raw. There's a couple things that actually, I didn't want to leave SmackDown out of this either. They're 3 hours. A lot of stuff to get through, Kyle.
There's a lot. And, just general reaction to Netflix, to Monday. I mean, it was a spectacle.
Yeah, so
we were going to get that, obviously. And it is the sweet moment of the week is Raw on Netflix. It's the first episode. It was built, and you could even, when Triple H talked about the show after on the press conference, he kind of said people were saying it felt like a WrestleMania because of the importance of it and the launching point. And I think the part that gets lost in all of this is that it's a normal Monday Night Raw in the beginning of January. I think that's the part that's hard for some people to grasp a little bit. Some people had expectations like this was going to be this crazy thing where, you know, the Rock wrestled and Cena had a match and all these guys did all these things, and it's a literal launching point for the next 10 years of Raw. It wasn't the let's blow our load. That's an AEW thing where we're going to have everyone wrestle in one night. We're going to have a 5-hour show, and it's going to be, you're going to be mentally fatigued after hour 2. Hour 3, you're probably going to want to turn it off. Hour 4, you're like, man, is the main event here yet? Hour 5, you're like, oh shit, we're only halfway through the show. Like, this wasn't the goal of this. This was to set the stage for you to come back and watch. That's the whole point.
If you did not know, Kyle just gave his review of Wrestle Kingdom. Go ahead, continue.
I don't even. It could be Wrestle Queendom. I don't know what it is. I have no fucking idea. I'm trying to be politically correct here, but nevertheless, I have no clue about that. But this was what it was. I mean, it was supposed to be a spectacle show. We're supposed to get appearances from The Rock and Cena, and we're supposed to have a couple good wrestling matches mixed in. And I think we got that. Obviously, Rhea and Liv was fantastic. That was probably the best match of the night. I think Punk and Rollins was close. But the story felt more complete with Rhea and Liv. I know you're excited about that probably. We'll talk maybe a little bit later more about that moving forward. But
it's over. Finally, it's over.
Well, we assume so. I don't know.
I know.
You never fucking know, dude. But I mean, but the wrestling was good. But there was a lot of stuff where I was like, did it really need to do that?
Yeah, and we're going to talk about that in just a little bit on the other side. I just wanted to address watching this. It felt like a spectacle. The production. Now, I'm curious. First off.
Did you buffer it all? I didn't buffer.
I did not.
How about that?
I did not. Major improvement from Tyson and
you gotta, but sometimes you have to rip up the Band-Aid, and sometimes the wound isn't healed yet. You got to put it back on for a little bit and let it heal a little more, and then you can take it off.
So they had Netflix had that fight, and then you had the NFL games on Christmas, did well, and then of course Monday Night Raw, number one according to, and that's the other thing. There's no like viewership thing to track. So
talk with your hands too much. You're too Italian.
No, there's no like viewership thing, but I guess you look.
They'll have streams.
The number one show out of the top 10 on their whole Netflix.
They'll release numbers, I'm sure, at some point, and I'd imagine it's probably in the tens of millions, because it's
right. I just liked, again, just the Intuit Dome is phenomenal. That place is unreal. I'm just curious. Are we going to get that level of production every single week? So when Raw's here in Cleveland at the top of February.
Bought my tickets already.
Are they going to have Skycam? Are they going to have drones flying into Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse? Are they going to have all these other special, production, that we expected, I guess, because they set the tone really high from a production standpoint.
Right.
So, like, are we going to get that, or are we just going to get the normal production that we have been used to seeing on other WWE shows? I guess that, for me, that would be my measuring stick.
Is someone going to light a blunt every time they have a show on Raw? And is that someone going to be Travis Scott? Is he like the mascot of Monday Night Raw now? Is he just going to show up every Monday?
Listen.
That was wild.
Oh, wow.
And the fact that Jay to be like, no, it's cool, bro.
Wow.
I have to wrestle.
I'm just going to say this, and again, we love our sponsors.
Randy's like, now the wellness policy.
I know. I'm just going to say this, like, BA Sweeties is fantastic, but we had to be mindful. Like, there was a couple of things that I wanted for this segment that just because, decorum, and it wasn't appropriate for there's something we're going to talk about later in the show, and then Travis Scott. That was, if you look up the terms of what this segment is, but.
Now, Lady Macbeth says, "Take me as I am."
Hey, listen.
There you go.
Hey, listen. That is but overall, production-wise, it was fantastic. It felt like, holy smokes, this is a cool thing to watch. Now, after the segment, we're going to talk about what really went into all that stuff. But can they repeat production? We'll see. But for on this night, production-wise, the introduction, if you laid your eyes for the first time on WWE programming on Netflix for the first time, as far as what your eyes saw, pretty impressive stuff.
Yeah, you saw the history of WWE. I mean, they did a good job of putting together maybe some names you had heard of before. You didn't really watch, but you've heard of Stone Cold Steve Austin. You've heard of The Rock. You've heard of some of these other guys that have been around, that have been pop culture icons, and you knew they came from wrestling or they came from that area, but you've never really watched. That was a nice little intro. Hanging up 4 sheets with Triple H standing right behind the fucking pyro, which is
craziness.
His heart must be doing good because that dude's.
I know.
He's going to be wrestling a match soon because apparently he's feeling it. But
Man.
no, I appreciated that, but I was disappointed in some of the things. And I think my overall feelings when the show ended was I'm a little let down.
I felt the opposite. And we'll talk about that coming up on the other side here. Did WWE create new fans? Which fans were they going after? And did they accomplish the job for not just the casuals, but also what we would term P1 viewers, P2 viewers? Like, did they accomplish what they needed to accomplish? A deep dive into that coming up in just a little bit. Deep dive into BA Sweeties. You need to do a deep dive right into the candies.
Well, dive in deep.
Dive in deep into the candies that is available only at BA Sweeties. And here's the cool thing. And people come up to me, my cousin, Jordan. He was like, my girl, like, our family, like, we better go to BA Sweeties. What should I get there? I'm like, I know you. You can either try something new, or you could get a Kit Kat. Well, which one should I get? You could pick either one at BA Sweeties. They have your classics, and if you want to try some things out, they have that too.
It's about expanding your boundaries a little bit. You can feel the safety and warmness of, the things you've eaten, the candy you've tried throughout your entire life, but you can also step outside that by just going one aisle down.
That's really what it is.
And seeing the different kinds of things, the throwbacks, take some of your older family with you too that were around back in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, whatever it was, when some of this other stuff that was kind of hanging out that maybe you haven't seen in a long time. It's there at BA Sweetie. Again, it's over 180,000 different types of candy in the store. It's wild.
And I know here on our show we're counting down until WrestleMania. The bigger countdown is to Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
And it will be fast approaching. And you want some candy from BA Sweeties, you want to definitely get that all sorted out. 6770 Brook Park Road. That's 6770 Brook Park Road in Cleveland, Ohio. Zip code 44. Do we even need the zip code?
If you're entering into like Apple Maps,
Okay.
it's a nice little cherry on top.
44129 is the zip code. Interstate 480, and I know the radars are down. It might snow, but crazy story, by the way.
Take a break from the snow. Go into BA Sweetie. Trust me, you don't have to worry about wading through 10 inches of snow inside the building. It's going to be nice and clear.
Interstate 480, the Ridge Road exit. Make a left on Brook Park Road, and you'll see a giant lollipop. It may have some snow on it, but you'll see the lollipop and just head right on this side.
Again, I like to encourage our watchers and listeners, if you're listening to the audio versions of the podcast, to please bring a ladder to BA Sweetie. And the white on top of the lollipop is sugar. You can lick it off. So please, and take a picture. Send it to us. Tag the podcasts. More than happy to just share that. And
full disclaimer, please do not do that. Please do not. We are not responsible for your actions.
Disclaimer on the disclaimer. Please do that.
We'll talk on the other side about your overall thoughts of WWE Monday Night Raw's debut on Netflix. But first, see for yourself what you can get at BA Sweeties. BA Anthony Alford here for Sweeties, a family destination satisfying sweet tooths in Northeast Ohio on Brook Park Road for over 74 years. The largest candy store in North America with 40,000 square feet stacked to the rafters with over $5 million in inventory. Come down to Sweeties today on Brook Park Road at Ridge. Just look for the giant lollipops. BA Sweeties, definitely got to check it out. Of course, it's great stuff. All right. What a night. A lot to dissect, a lot to talk about with Monday Night Raw on Netflix. And however much you pay for Netflix per month, because now it is streaming, now it is a huge deal. And I guess the big question, they had a tough challenge. How do you introduce WWE to new viewers without insulting the viewers that have been there for you since day one, while also moving story and having satisfying matches and having celebrities approve of your product and sponsors? So there's a lot here. But I want to start quickly here before we get to our thoughts. Kay Adams. For years, she was on Good Morning Football on NFL Network. She now does her own show, Up and Adams. Great name, by the way.
Wordplay.
Very much wordplay. It's on YouTube. It's also on Turner and the FanDuel Sports Network. It's all over the place. But she attended her very first WWE event here on this Netflix show. And she said at the beginning of the clip, we're going to play the end of the clip here in a second, but she said at the beginning, wrestling fans are very welcoming. And there's a deep reason why, because way back when the stories were not good at all, it was one of those things where honestly, there was a time period where you couldn't be proud of the product. And the product that Vince McMahon was putting out, the product that others were putting out, you couldn't be proud of it. So anytime you get fans coming in, newbies coming in, we want them in. We want them in. And, don't just be closet, just come on in.
Come out of the closet.
Yeah, please.
Come on.
Please.
Just do it.
Don't go back in.
Tell your parents. And then.
But I love what Kay Adams had to say here of this clip, again, courtesy of her show, Up and Adams.
But sometimes in those situations, you aren't welcome. It's like you don't. Yeah. And I felt so welcomed by the wrestling community and the wrestling loving community. And I just want to shout, I think it's such a beautiful thing. And I think that more than anything sucked me in, that nobody made me feel stupid for not knowing. And it was everyone was just excited. And it was just, it's rare now to be part of something, anything that isn't divisive. And there's obviously divisive and polarizing parts of whatever. I don't subscribe to them. But it was really just I'm watching Topanga, and she is she looks like she's in 300, at a pit watching somebody. She's and all this is going on, and I could not have loved it more. And I also want to say, all these dudes who were oh, babe, I don't want to watch Ariana and Jax fighting on Vanderpump Rules and drama and Bravo. This is the most Seth Rollins and CM Punk and all this. It's the most dramatic thing I've ever seen in my life. So put a cork in it, guys.
Pretty cool stuff. First off, when I saw social media, Topanga's there, holy smokes.
It's kind of sad they didn't acknowledge.
They didn't acknowledge Eric Matthews.
Yeah, Eric's.
It was right in the shot. So I guess let me start here.
I start with the Feeney call.
Well,
Feeney?
Man. What was the other girl?
Feeney!
The porn star. What was her name?
Wow, okay.
Madeline Ward. Yeah, she was on. She did. Yeah, great. Boy Meets World, great show.
I only remember Feeney. Yeah, it's fine.
So let me start here with the question we have up top. Did Raw do its job in terms of creating new fans?
Yeah, I would imagine it did. When you get that many eyeballs on your product and you put so much emphasis on a show, you're going to get a lot of new viewers. They're bound to keep some of them. I'd imagine. It's Not like, again, I hate to just bring up AEW because I'm not trying to trash them, but it's not like, you have your big pay-per-view where we sold 160,000 buys and we had 70,000 people here, but then the next week you go to Dynamite and the ratings are under 500,000. This is different. I mean, there's also the fact that they've been around forever. I understand that too, and it's a name that you know.
Mm-hmm.
But with it being on a new platform for the first time ever, Raw's been on USA besides a brief break on Spike.
Forever.
Yeah, it's been
30 years.
It's been since it started.
Yeah.
I mean, this is something that it was a big change, and it's opening the door again. I watched the press conference Triple H, and he was like, it's Netflix is for everybody. Like, kids have shows, adults have shows, elderly people have shows, teens have shows. Everyone has a connection to Netflix. 280 some million subscribers had the option to watch right then.
And I didn't realize, I get, because the deal was announced, honestly, probably when we started this show a year ago.
Yeah, around then.
And I did not realize, what's the difference between like Netflix and HBO Max?
It's big.
And or Peacock. Like, what's the difference? Everyone has streaming. I did not realize, I think McAfee said it, somebody said it, or it might have been in a promo. 80% of the globe has Netflix. And you can watch, like 80% of the country has access to Monday Night Raw at the same time. Like, if you really think about it from that scope, like, holy smokes. And it's something that I took for granted because, again, everyone has streaming in some way, shape, or form. You have different streaming services, but don't tell me that the NFL was not paying attention to what WWE did on Monday. Don't tell me that any of these other entertainment ventures and sports leagues were not paying attention, at least to what they were doing and realizing, hey, those new set of eyes are being exposed across the globe.
Well, the NFL was the first one to really dabble in it, right? Because they had the Amazon Prime games, they have the Christmas Day Netflix games, whatever it was. I mean, they've already kind of dipped their toes into doing some of this. They're like really the first one.
Mm-hmm.
WWE obviously was the next with full-on committing to a show every week.
And that's the key, like committing to a full, like, weekly show to put your main product on, not just a couple of games. Like, you have to have Netflix to follow the WWE product.
Even like this, hey, on average, Raw got 1.5 to 2 million, somewhere in there.
Mm-hmm.
That's their average number, give or take somewhere in between. I don't know what it usually is, but it's probably around that. Now, if they get 10 million views, in a span of a day or two or whatever it is, I mean, that's 5 times the viewership.
Mm-hmm.
Netflix is going to look at that like, well, shit.
And you could tell, too, the quality of platform by the quality of commercials. It's just little things like that. Like if you watch Christmas Day, you watch any NFL game, the quality of commercial. If you watched NBA on Christmas Day, or the NBA Finals, like there's a different level of quality as far as commercials. Like, it's holy smokes, this is a huge deal. Like, you kind of tell, and you saw like some of the stars that appeared during the commercials. Like, holy smokes, this is a huge deal.
Yeah,
that this is happening. So okay, they accomplished that. They created new fans, and I find it funny, and I will complain about this part. I do find it funny. I don't like publicly announcing that it was the highest grossing arena event ever.
We charged the most for tickets tonight, and you all bought them. Thanks.
And you clapped. Yeah, we spent the most money. Yeah.
I would have booed.
Yes.
But I will say, like, the Raw in Cleveland here on February 3rd, the Raw after Royal Rumble, I did get really cheap tickets and really good seats. I was like, okay, you know what?
Oh, yeah.
I'm not upset about it.
I just find it interesting, though, because, like, that is the one thing that I kind of want Triple H, and they're not going to, because those are the type of things that satisfy sponsors.
It's the business side.
It's the business side.
At the end of the day.
But you save that for your press conferences. You don't need to say it publicly.
Well, they also wanted, like, hey, you sold out. Like, we want you guys to, we want to acknowledge I get why they do it. They could just say we sold out.
Right.
They don't have to say, it's like when they announce the attendance records during the arena show, or during the stadium shows. Like, we 70-some thousand people. Like, dude, that's.
I just don't want a situation where if we assume, and we had the panel here last week, if we assume that at some point Triple H is going to have a downturn, I don't want a situation where it's like, well, years ago you were bragging about highest grossing arena show, and all of a sudden your product sucks now, and you're not getting that. I just don't want that to happen. That'll be the first thing that kind of, draws back. But you see the list of celebrities. It felt like I said on Twitter, it felt like it was. The goal was to look like a UFC pay-per-view. We show all the celebrities. You show not random, but you show the wrestlers who are not competing, but
they're in attendance.
They're in attendance.
They're making an appearance.
They're making an appearance. Yeah. They're dressed to the nine. Everything. We'll talk about Cody in a few minutes.
Had to get him on.
Yeah, all of that stuff.
Neck injury and all. I had to get him on the show.
Right. So from that part, they did the job. All right. Let's talk about all of us who watch this show, listen to us every week. What we call the P1, Tier 1.
Getting used to the table, sorry. I can't lean back anymore. I have to lean forward.
The
turns into a hunchback.
The Tier 1 viewers. And this is where it gets interesting. Because I think we have different opinions about what we thought of Monday Night Raw. I think, as far as the matches itself, other than The Rock, which we'll discuss momentarily, I thought the matches were really good. I thought I didn't realize until like you were doing like a running clock play-by-play, like, oh crap, we've gone like 30 minutes without a match. But I'm sitting at home. I would be more concerned about that if I was in the audience, but I'm sitting at home. So I didn't even really like notice.
Well, it depends what they're doing in between the matches too. Are you entertained? They had the Cena spot. They had, for better or worse, they had Hogan come out. I mean, like they
had all the stuff during the commercial, and that part I kind of don't understand, but they had all the stuff during the commercials that people in the arena and people internationally saw, but we didn't see. New Day. Completely going in on Kendrick. I thought that was great. The Miz and the Karrion Kross thing, that happened, and we had to go through social media to find out.
I didn't see that.
But I thought overall, as far as what we expected, I thought the matches were outstanding, and I thought everyone on the current roster delivered. John Cena didn't do anything groundbreaking. Didn't need to. We kind of knew.
He tried to talk us out of him doing anything. And then he talked himself into entering the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
Only Cena could do that shit, and people be like, oh, it was pretty good.
Oh, that was nice. That was nice, the acting. But I thought overall, the show, the wrestling was fine.
I need like a year of like heel Cena, heel Cody. Like, let's fuck with some shit.
I like heel. I think heel Cody. I have thoughts on that. You didn't.
No, I liked the show.
Okay.
I was a little disappointed in the Ripley Liv Morgan finish, because Liv was kind of billed as the face of this new era on Raw, and of course she then immediately loses her championship to Rhea, which I get it. I think they're building probably to Becky and Rhea again at some point here. She signed her new contract. She's going to be back in WWE soon. But what does Liv do now? That's the part that kind of makes me go, is she just going to stop? She was champion since, what, May?
279 days.
Long reign.
They poured it out in the show.
She's just going to be like, okay, I'm cool now. We're over it. I mean, I don't know what's going to take precedence. She spent so much time on that story. For it to end like that, after all the billing she had for this new show and for this new platform, it feels strange. And then obviously the Rock thing was, you mentioned before, you said it on social media, Solo has to win, right? So what the fuck are they going to do now? I have no clue. What, Roman had to win because he's going to be on the cover of WWE 2K25? Is that why? Like, that's not a good enough reason, and that's be one of the first times where I criticized Triple H, because you had a chance to really solidify Solo as a main eventer. We can finally take him serious against guys like Cody and these kind of guys, and he lost. Where the fuck was Jay? Oh, he's getting ready for his match with Drew, or was he smoking in the back with Travis Scott? Why the fuck didn't he help? Jimmy and Sammy came out.
True.
Is that a story now? Is Jay like, fuck you guys now? I'm over it. I'm hanging out with Travis Scott. You can go have your little tribal bullshit. I'm gonna be over here with the real stars.
I think we have to establish something on this show. We have said for the past year that Triple H has built enough credibility to where we know in the back of our minds, there's a reason for everything. But with that being said,
the Rock thing made no sense.
That doesn't mean that we can't react to what we're seeing right now.
But this is the first time where Triple H has deviated from the long-term storytelling with The Rock. That was my main problem with the show, was The Rock. The fact that he came out, which is fine. Hey, make an appearance. That's great. Lead the show off. Cool. I get it. It's The Rock. But then the thanking Cody.
See, I wouldn't even want him on the show then. Honestly, I wouldn't want him on the show.
If he was thanking Cody but then started talking shit, besides the Mama Rhodes comment, which, whatever, that's Rock being Rock. It's the personality. It's not... It leads me to think that this guy's not going to be a part of the show this year.
Of WrestleMania.
I don't know if he's going to be around, period, this year. I think he's going to give Cena the year to be the star, and then Rock next year will maybe start to dabble back in. I don't know.
Well, let's play this clip here from NXT.
Which, again, was weird. I don't...
So, apparently...
Rock was in LA, so he's got to be there.
He talked for, 8 minutes overall, and a
Ramblin'
lot of fans...
Rock was
a lot of fans said he didn't talk about anything.
Talked about pie.
But let's play the part that is relevant to this discussion from NXT Tuesday night, courtesy of WWE and the CW.
Pete, let's get copywritten. Let's do it.
This time last year, The Rock, the final boss, everywhere I went, every gym, every restaurant, every church, every strip club, the same thing. I heard the same thing. Oh, why are you so mean to Cody? Don't be mean to Cody. Cody's got to finish his story. Don't be mean. Oh, my God. Okay. 1 year later, last night, Netflix, Raw. Woo! Yes. An amazing night we had, electrifying night, a historic night. Last night, The Rock wanted to give props to Cody, give him his flowers. He's been kicking ass. He has been kicking ass, carrying the company on his shoulders. And then what did they say? You can't be nice to Cody. Don't be nice to Cody. Don't drink tequila with Cody. Oh. At the end of the day, let us all remind them that The Rock is the final boss, thinking 20 steps ahead. So the best thing for them to do is to know their role, shut their mouth, and enjoy the ride that The Rock is taking them on. This time last year,
Yeah, we've heard enough.
Courtesy of the CW and WWE. Look. Again, I love The Rock as a character.
Man, that's the epitome of kicking the can down the road. I don't know.
No, I don't. You know what, though? That's storytelling does not mean pause for your own convenience. That's exactly what happened.
What happened to Bad Blood when he put up the 1, 2, 3 fingers and did this? Was he who the fuck was he talking about now? We still have no idea what that is. And he made an appearance now, and we thought, hey, Roman, Cody, and fucking it was Jimmy, whoever it was, were in the ring. Solo was out of the picture. He did it. Solo said it was all part of the plan.
Mm-hmm.
So what, The Rock, who apparently now is a high chief, which I'm surprised it took this fucking long, but he's a high. I'm assuming because his dad or the family passed and that kind of stuff. Offense, he could pass. Maybe it was time to. I don't know how that works. I should immerse myself more in Samoan culture. I apologize, but nevertheless, it didn't make sense. Like, but acknowledging Roman when he first came out, Roman's the true tribal chief. What are we doing? Like, when people are like, "Oh, you're being impatient," it's like, well, no, I'd like to follow up on what happened. Like, I don't need the answer to every question, but I'd like consistency and continuity in what you've done, and that's why this is the problem I have with the show. that whole match segment was the first full hour of the show. And it felt like we went backwards.
Oh, it felt like it stopped.
That's what I'm talking. It got so slow, it started going in reverse.
It stopped. It's like you have fans. You have your tier 1, your tier 2 fans, which is everyone who watches this show, everyone who's dialed in, even the ones who don't go to the internet, but they watch every week or nearly every week.
Yeah.
They were locked in to Cody and Rock, Bloodline. They were locked in. And The Rock basically came out and broke the rules. He basically came out and said, this is all fake. That's what he did. What he did, and so Rock comes out and does that. Okay, we're on the back of our minds, we're supposed to acknowledge that he is the TKO on the board. Well, wait a minute. The story last year was that, TKO member of the board, Roman was supposed to be the guy. That was the story, that Roman was supposed to be the guy. I'm sorry, if somebody did that to my mom, by the way, then there ain't no, hey, he's been kicking ass this year. No. And then Cody. Cody's in the front row. I mean, what champion is in the front row that's just going to say, that's okay. That's okay. And if that doesn't lead to a heel turn in the first, if that doesn't lead to Kevin Owens in story terms saying Cody's a phony and a double turn doesn't happen, we got problems. And I'm pretty sure a double turn will not happen.
I think we're overthinking this. I think the mindset with Triple H in this group was essentially, this is a one-off. This is going to have nothing to do with the grander scheme of the Bloodline story, of The Rock and what he's going to be doing over the next year and a half, over what Cody's going to be doing, any of these guys. Because now, Solo, he said if he lost, he was going to acknowledge Roman. What's going to happen to Jacob Fatu? Are we going to finally get that I hate you Solo that you've been waiting for a little bit?
Oh, I think that part I'm actually excited about.
I mean, it just didn't make... Roman didn't need it. Roman is over, period. And he's now officially, I think it's safe to say, one of the greatest of all time because of what he's done, what he's meant, and what he still means for the future of pro wrestling. But like, this was a chance. We talk about building new stars, getting new people in, new people you could point to and be like, that's one of the guys that's going to be the future. Like, Solo gets that win, he's locked.
Yeah, that Solo losing.
What the fuck is he gonna? Is he really gonna go back to being part of the posse?
Solo losing a step. We question sometimes.
Guy was on top of the Bloodline for 8 months.
I know. We question sometimes. Can you be over in a loss? Can you get over in a loss? It's being in a main event, and I'll put Roman and Solo as a main event or a co-main, whatever you wanted to call it.
Well, if you're not going to go on last, go on first. So,
right.
Yeah, I get it.
Right. Is that enough, right? You're over just by appearance.
I don't know.
With him in particular, don't know. What I hope is that Solo is not. He's not going to return to the Bodyguard. That's what I hope. I hope it's just not. Oh, the no charisma Bodyguard.
Yeah, I don't know.
I love watching Solo during that match though. I love like
he was talking. Yeah, he was doing what Roman did.
He was
the first couple of years.
Yeah. If Solo and Jacob Fatu do move into a feud, Solo did a great job foreshadowing the feud. He did a great job in the match. Real quick, back to Rock. We have to just... I understand the overthinking. I understand ultimately at the grand scheme of things, The Rock is probably right. In that, the 20 steps ahead line, enjoy the ride, blah, 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 blah. Cool. There are certain things that you don't have to acknowledge about the ride, right?
It was a little bumpy. We don't talk about that.
There's certain, sometimes the ride, sometimes you hit a few bumps. Sometimes you take the wrong turn. You don't have to tell your girl that you took the wrong turn. You just take the turn and then just go, right? You don't have to, not everything has to be said, right? you understanding what I'm saying here?
You understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Look, listen. I understand that maybe the whole point was to perhaps set up. Maybe The Rock will be at Mania. Maybe he won't be.
I don't know.
Maybe he faces Cody. He probably doesn't. Maybe he faced Roman. I thought during that whole ceremony and I think the fans did too, that, hey, the turn was going to happen.
He was going to hit him. Yeah, he was
going to hit him.
I thought what The Rock was going to do was take the Ula Fala and put it on himself.
I know. That's exactly what I thought. I thought it was going to be like.
He was going to do this, and he was going to go.
And that was.
Be like.
And like, boom, there's your WrestleMania main event.
And then Roman can disappear for a few weeks at a time or whatever it is. He can respond on the 27th. Oh, this is supposed to be a celebration. I'm the cover athlete of WWE 2K, and I got my family back. I'm on top. And then he comes back.
Because my bigger concern now,
it's
and we'll move off Rock because, Hulk Hogan's coming up.
We'll talk about a real American in a minute.
I know, right. Because, like, the thing is, and we have a break built in on this. We'll talk about it here on the other side. Now, you're saying now what for Solo? No, I'm saying what now for Roman Reigns?
Yeah, I don't even know, dude.
Because at least I can say with Solo, well, maybe Jacob Fatu's going to murder him on Friday.
I don't fucking know, dude. I don't even know. I mean, he was so... And even Cole and I think even McAfee talked about it a little bit too. Like, they were really loyal to Solo because he treated them very well as equals. He never put them down. And it's true. The entire time they've been there, they've been all in equal playing field. When Roman was running the ship, it was always prove your loyalty. Test. You're shit. What the hell are you doing? You're not doing good enough.
And again, it goes back to this. Why should I root for Roman in the first place? Roman hasn't learned a thing.
Still hasn't changed.
He's still the same. He's still the same a-hole.
We gonna get a Solo face turn?
We'll talk about it on the other side. And you saw the last slide too. We'll talk about that. And it's just, again, a lot of things. Rapid fire is going to happen. You don't want to miss it. A lot of stuff went down. We got these sponsors we're going to talk about here in just a little bit.
Also real Americans.
That's right. Including Megan, who's behind Kyle's shoulder. And there you go.
Gotta lean to the right. Beyonce said lean to the left.
I know. And Mike from State Farm, who's going to be here in studio next week.
Special week next week.
And we'll talk about that in a little bit.
For a multitude of reasons. Yeah.
I know. But first, watch this. Let's see what they do. Watch. Tom, do you know where everything is here in the store?
No.
Okay.
In a general idea, I do. But I can't tell you how many times my office is on the floor of the store,
right?
And my door is always open. All our managers' doors are always open if they're there. So if any customer has a question or whatever, if they can't find an employee, stock guy or whatever on the floor, they can just, hey, where's this at? So I can't tell you how many times a customer would come in and say, can you tell me where sugar-free candy is? And I'll say 12N. No, 12S.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And I says, it's right down, go down this way because you're in aisle 7 now, 5 more aisles or whatever. And then I'll think about it after they leave, and I'm like, oh, man, I told them the wrong aisle. It's aisle 13.
What should fans who might be watching you here in Cleveland for the first time, hey, they look you up on the website, on the app, they call you, what should they expect?
Yeah, I mean, first off, between me and my team, you're going to get one of us. If you want to deal directly with the man, you're more than welcome to. I don't mind. I love working with customers because I look at it this way. I have a lot of good life experience financially. I've said 12 years of banking. I've got now 2.5 years of insurance. I have a lot of money and just kind of life and financial stuff knowledge. So that's what I look to do, is to truly help people get from that point A to point B financially, it's not about just, I mean, saving money on auto insurance, sure, but if I can kind of turn that into a better discussion, really help people understand what actually insurance does, why it's important, because it's not a tangible, I joke when I leave that I lock the office door so no one steals all the insurance, but there's not just insurance laying around. So like there's just it's kind of a mystery kind of component in people's lives that they think is a scam and all the different things you hear. It's not. I mean, it can feel like it sometimes. I'm not going to say that it doesn't, but if you understand how it works and understand and have a person who you can go to help with those kind of situations, that's what we're here to do. That's what my team's here to do. That's what I'm here to do. And that's what I take a lot of pride and have a lot of passion in, obviously, as you can probably tell. So,
well, I mean, I know you said the joke, hey, we lock the door so no one steals the insurance, but it's exactly right.
Mike from State Farm. It's good stuff, man. I'll tell you.
What a cut in.
I'll tell you. My goodness. And he will be here with us next week, but this is the craziest thing. We talked about it before the show. You know the radar that tracks the snow and stuff, your favorite weather app, the radar here in Cleveland's down. Down. Can't track snow. So you step outside, you think like, oh, everything's cool. And you get in the car, you start driving, and all of a sudden, you can't see anything. And then you get into an accident. You want to be protected. And Mike from State Farm, he's going to take care of you. You want to get that protection now before something like that happens.
Side note, what do you call a happy radar?
I do not know.
Gator. Mike from State Farm is honestly one of the guys that you need to talk to when it comes to insurance. You're supposed to no-sell it. Come on.
I can't. Keep going, man.
Was it wrong? No. It's a happy radar. Yeah, you take
When
that.
am I telling lies?
You tell me when I'm telling lies. I'll put the 3 stars in the back of my jacket, kiss you on the mouth, Kenny Rogers. Eat your heart out, Jack Perry.
Cry me a river.
Yeah, cry me a river. Tears of broken glass.
I was hoping CM Punk would drop that line, by the way, in one of his promos.
No, he's not below
I know.
the ground.
He like, cry me a river. I'm 46. Cry me a river.
Age is just a number, folks. Speaking of numbers, 216-932-6900. That's Mike Faber, your State Farm agent, our friend, and obviously wishing him the best of luck. He's about a week and a half away from one of the biggest days of his life. Big matchup with Strictly Business Brandon Beretta, who may or may not be making an appearance on the show next week, too.
Yeah, that's going to be
we
big
know
time.
We know Mike's going to be here. We have yet to confirm Brandon, but he is going to be in the area. He may or may not stop by. Depends if it fits his business schedule.
I know, and we got to see if Mike is taking. He takes the insurance very seriously. He does.
Listen, my dude's been repping out at Planet Fitness. All right, I'm excited to see what he looks like when come next Saturday. And we're going to have some more announcements, obviously, about that show too next week. Which I mean, it's going to be a huge show. We'll talk about more of that here at the end of this show. But yeah, obviously excited for Mike. Exodus Pro Wrestling. Still a few tickets available. So make sure you guys look at that up as well. And obviously,
the VIP's not available. It's sold out.
That's sold out pretty quick. Yeah.
VIP sold out quick. Yeah. But that's his uniform, by the way, at State Farm. We know because it's State Farm, and when we met him, that's what he was wearing. But
it was in his office.
He was in his office.
He kind of had to wear his.
He has to.
Yeah. Now,
but when he comes here next week.
If he comes in the singlet, I'm going to die.
No. Oh, God.
I'm going to tell him to do it.
If he does, he has to sit behind the table. I'll go somewhere else in the studio. I'll go to our old location over there and do the interview.
We probably should make sure if they both show up that we do separate them because I don't want Mike to get suplexed through the table. You know.
I don't want any broken equipment. I don't think Pete does either.
Yeah, no.
No,
yeah.
Well, yeah. Pete right now is making sure we're good on this interview.
Put an extra leg on the table so it doesn't break. That's all I'm gonna.
Mike from State Farm. And again, check out the show.
Oh, it's going to be fantastic.
Man.
So much going on.
A lot of stuff. And next week we'll dive into some of the stories going into Begin Again. And we say it every time with these Exodus shows. Like, we just finished Usual Suspects. It seemed like it was just 2 weeks ago.
It was.
And, and before you know it, the next show is coming up, and here we are, January 18th, 2 weeks from Saturday. So it's
Tree Lawn Music Hall.
I'm wrong. 1 week from Saturday.
That's correct.
1 week from Saturday. Because it's January 9th as of this taping, and yeah, so there you go.
You'll get there.
Yeah, I'll figure it out. Maybe by the April show, I'll figure it out.
Listen, I'm just holding this dog's head. You're the one fucking it.
Oh, my goodness.
Man, trying to segue out of that one, Double A.
Small business owners are superheroes, but nowadays running your business means doing so inside your shop and on social media. That's why you should make Omega Video Marketing your sidekick. With a decade of content creation experience, I create dynamic, informative, and fun videos for your specific social needs that will increase brand awareness, get you more followers, and keep your social pages and websites current and fresh. I offer flexible pricing and turn times and will work with you to understand your brand and your story. All of that comes from the heart. My award-winning expertise is just the cherry on top. So let's get connected. After all, your brand is the alpha and my expertise is the omega.
Where can you find all the action for Northeast Ohio high school sports?
Oh my goodness! Touchdown!
You gotta be kidding
Touchdown, Madison! Only on Chagrin Valley Conference TV.
We provide full coverage for your favorite schools all year long. From the mat to the field to the court, we have the best highlights and post-game one-on-ones.
We're coming back this year. Everyone on this team is hungry.
Me being a leader, if they see me perform at my best, if they see me with top energy, then this is going to push them and want them to be at the top energy.
Most just appreciate you and all you do for the CVC.
Catch it all on ChagrinValleyConference.com and at Chagrin Valley Conference TV on YouTube. You were saying?
You just saw it right there.
She got double played.
Oh, man. Listen. If you have a small business, if you're a digital content creator, got to hit up Megan. Megan Gallagher, Omeg Video Marketing. She just had a new client, by the way. Brand new client. Just saw that video. I believe it was a yoga business. So just more and more clients being added. You want that exposure. You want, more people to see your product, more people to access your business. Important people, her videos, they go on LinkedIn. You got people ask, hey, does the Side Hustle Wrestling Podcast have a LinkedIn page? No, but
which honestly is probably for the best because, yeah.
But professional videos, whether you want more of that reach or if you want more social media engagement, Megan is the person to make that happen.
Yeah, a decade and radio and television experience, mainly television, obviously, but bringing that side of it too, having those contacts and the ability to really get your name out there and do a professional job at taking those next steps as a small business. I mean, Megan's the person to reach out to.
And she also helped us out too with the CVC TV thing, so that was good too. Mm-hmm. So you hear Kyle's great call at the beginning. I talk in there too, but you hear Kyle in the video, so. It's
my turn to be the star.
It's my turn. Oops, sorry. But Omega.
Wait your turn, Joy.
Check it out.
You need your hair done, don't you?
Don't say anything. Don't say anything. Don't say anything. Don't say. Why did Whitlock have to say she had peanut butter skin?
I don't know. Because he was right. No, I'm kidding. I mean,
I've never heard that before.
It's beautiful skin.
It's not. It is, but
it's smooth.
All right.
Wait, was it crunchy peanut butter or was it creamy peanut butter?
All right. So what's next with Roman and Solo? Man.
I want to know what kind of protein intake I'm getting. That was a pity laugh, everybody.
Crazy. I'm sitting there. It's like, man, let me put in an application real quick to FS1, see what's going on up there.
I only have the one that need to do hair.
Yeah. Let me see what's going on up there. No, I don't want to work in New York. I want to work in L.A. Yeah. I want to work there.
I'm tired of the snow. I want to go somewhere warm.
Yeah.
I'll take the wildfires. It's fine.
I am concerned. Hulk Hogan talk, by the way, coming up in less than 5 minutes.
Yeah. And then I'll be over in less than 6.
Yeah. You have concerns about Solo. I have concerns about Roman.
I mean, they both. It doesn't really. The natural next step for Roman would be Rock, right? I mean, that's the only person I can think of unless Roman plans on going back for the title again, but we don't want to see Roman and Cody again. So, unless it leads to a Roman-Cody match where someone gets involved, then maybe that's one thing. But at the same point, Roman also going to be more on Netflix now. He's going to be on Raw. Cody looks like he actually is probably staying on SmackDown.
Can I actually just mention one other thing, too?
Would Roman and Gunther make sense? Would that be a match you'd want to see?
No. No. I have no interest in that match.
I'd be a little curious, just because it's new, it's fresh. We never thought we'd see Roman and Gunther.
It's fine. Hope it's great.
I mean, I'm just saying, listen, we don't know where. As far as we know, the road ended. We don't know where the fuck it's going next.
Well, The Rock ended it. The Rock ended the road. Like, that's it. That's it. So that's done.
You can call it a rocky road.
Yeah, and it came to a dead end.
Marshmallows,
so that's it.
chocolate, and regret.
So 3 years of storytelling. That's it. So the Bloodline's done. Because let's think about the track, too. Roman's team won at War Games.
Mm-hmm.
Roman and Cody won at Bad Blood. Then then War Games.
Yeah.
And then he won the one-on-one match. So the Bloodline story's done. He got his guys back.
Yeah, everyone's in tow. Solo even told Paul he would acknowledge him if he won.
And they're going to be back. Yeah, what's the story now? Oh, Roman's going to probably enter the Royal Rumble. I mean, in a way, as intrigued to the Royal Rumble, you got main event stars entering the Rumble. Fine. Great.
And this is the year where we don't know who's going to win. Like, everyone's the betting favorite's John, but we don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but there is a lot about Cena and Cody right now. Like a crazy amount about Cena and Cody.
Yeah.
Which I think is interesting.
It's interesting. I'm not back. It's just, I guess, to me, if you put up Roman and Cody, just tell the tape. Cody, to me, has about 3 or 4 stories that you can make a case for Mania. You can make a case for.
I mean, you can make a case for Drew. You can make a case for Randy. You can make a case for Cena.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I can't do
if
the
Punk
same.
won the Rumble, you can make a case for it. Yeah.
I can't do the same for Roman.
Roman feels like there's really only one direction he can go.
And if that direction's not there, then what is there? Because we saw, honestly...
Goldberg.
Fine. We saw...
I mean, fuck. I
don't know. I don't know. Retire Goldberg. Fine. Get in. Get your moves in. Get out.
Roman beats Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship, and Goldberg spears Gunther to give Roman the win. That leads to Gunther Goldberg at WrestleMania in Goldberg's retirement match. And then Roman's the World Heavyweight Champion. He faces Punk for the title at Mania. Oh, fuck. I just booked WWE. And then Cody and Cena.
Send that in an email.
The sad part is, in my head right now, that's the most logical thing. That's Punk's favor.
I'm going to be perfectly honest. I'm going to replay this episode back and write down everything you just said. It's like, well, not bad. Not bad.
I mean, listen, on paper, it's fine. I don't know if it...
I guess just for me, I need to see...
Well, then what are you supposed to do?
Roman's a perfect character, right? Roman's a perfect character.
I think
Roman learned nothing. He's a perfect character.
Sure.
There's nothing else there.
The more I think about this, the more that does actually kind of make sense. It keeps Cody and Roman separate. We don't need to see that again.
Mm-hmm.
And Punk can cash in on the favor by getting a world title match against Roman at Mania. It also legitimizes the Raw Championship a little bit, too.
However, whatever path you need to take to get to Roman and Punk, sure.
I mean, that's the only thing I can really see.
And again, what I do like...
If it's not Rock.
What I do like overall on WWE television, we are seeing... I like the overall premise of Royal Rumble, Elimination Chamber, Money in the Bank. They're acknowledging on the air that these are tickets to WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Right? Like, these are tough things to do, but they are tickets. Again, Solo, Jacob Fatu. And here's the other thing, and maybe this is a positive. Solo has to be put away so Jacob Fatu could be elevated. Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do because Roman's not going to make an appearance on TV, I guess, until the 27th. So I don't know what.
If that's your key SmackDown storyline, They do and again, Solo the foreshadowing from months ago. Winning and losing has consequences. Came out of Solo's mouth. Jacob Fatu could roll out on SmackDown tomorrow night and say those exact words.
Take Solo out.
And wipe out Solo.
And you don't have to worry about booking him because he won't be on TV. And that gives Jacob the chance to challenge Roman. I don't know. All
right, we got to talk about the elephant in the room here.
He would be coming in on an elephant.
Yeah, he would be. That would go along with my WrestleMania plans from last year.
God, Hogan versus Goldberg. Goldberg comes in on a donkey.
So, why did everybody boo Jimmy Hart?
No, trust me. Nobody was booing Jimmy Hart.
Brother.
Maybe we just had to accept the fact that Hulk Hogan isn't a popular figure in 2025 anymore.
So let's look into it.
Maybe it was, I don't know, the racist comments, which I'm glad that was number one. This history of just being an asshole and thinking only for himself. Yeah, who can forget the Shawn Michaels matches? I mean, that's crazy.
So let me go bottom up. Number 5.
Yeah, politics is
number 5, and it might be part of it for some. I'm not gonna lie to you and say that nobody hates him because of the.
If anything, he'd be more popular because Trump did just win the election and he backed him, so you think he'd have more people in his corner because of that.
The biggest babyface in the entire WWE, Triple H, goes to every Trump event. I know partly because of Linda McMahon. I get all that, but the political part, for the most part,
I don't think that plays too much into this.
That could be tossed out.
They were in LA though. It's California. It's pretty blue. I don't know. I mean, but still.
All right, fine. Hulk, let's run it back when they go to San Antonio for Saturday night's main event.
Maybe he gets
run it back.
Well, San Antonio, the bigger cities. It's.
I know.
We're not going to Oberlin or one of these smaller rural cities or. We're not going to Lavelle, Wyoming, or some shit. We're going to be in these big cities, and a lot of big cities have.
We got to go to Marion, Ohio. When we watched Kevin wrestle, from the panel last week, Hogan opens,
blows the fucking roof off,
blows the top off.
Like, really legit. He actually brought a bazooka because they're going to make it legal, and he blew it up.
Number 1 and number 2 cannot be disputed. As Kyle just mentioned.
Yeah, he's a racist and he's a prick. Yeah.
The 2010s, there's tape. We're not going to play it here, but you can find it on the internet.
Which, again, I challenge you to find any 70-plus-year-old white man who isn't a little bit racist. I mean, come on. It's like my grandpa. I loved him to death. He was an awesome man, but he was a little bit of a racist.
Number 1.
Different times. They grew up in different times. You have to be understanding of that, too. The only problem is not everyone gets a camera on their face and all that shit.
Yeah, so number 1 immediately wipes out the black audience and other people who – understand it. So, okay, that's number 1. Number 2, we saw it on the McMahon Netflix special, and we talked about it.
Yeah, and now Ventura's back and everything, too. So.
Yeah. Well, that part's interesting. And we talked about it. It's like we see back then, and I know it's better now because, WWE doesn't have a house show until March. But back in the day when it was 200, 300 events a year.
Yeah.
And you are literally putting your bodies on the line and stuff. And for those who don't know the story from the Netflix special, Jesse the Body Ventura and others, they were going to, team up and create a union. They were going to start it. Hulk Hogan got word of said union. Hulk Hogan went to Vince and snitched on him. And when that happened, Vince McMahon showed up and they had a meeting with the talent. And Vince McMahon said, if anybody goes to the thing the next day, you will no longer be booked in WWF programming.
And he got rid of Jesse, too, with that.
Yeah, and nobody went. And so there was no union. Because of Hulk Hogan, there is no wrestling union.
Which we also don't know what would have happened if he wouldn't have said anything. But, I mean, he didn't help anything with that. I mean, when you stooge it immediately and don't even give it a chance to go to a vote or have a conversation about it, like a real conversation with your fellow wrestlers. Like, he should have went to that meeting. Like, what are you guys trying to do? Like, what's the point of this? If he was really against it, but again, that wasn't the thought process. It was, how can I look good to Vince?
Mm-hmm.
How can I stop, these guys from, maybe getting over with the boys. How can I put the kebab on this real quick, but also make it seem like it wasn't really my fault? Like, it was
and the thing
manipulative, and it was.
And the thing is now, and probably why you got the reaction, the fact sometimes when things happen years later, you try to soften the blow on how you delivered the story.
Yeah.
No regrets from Hogan.
No.
None. If you rewatch that McMahon special, no regrets.
Also, I'm really curious with all this with Hogan now. Is Stone Cold done with the company? Because remember, he had his IPA, and he had the podcast, and he had all this stuff that was featured prominently. This dude ain't been around, and he's gotten in the best shape of his life.
No, yeah.
Where the fuck has Stone Cold been in any of these WrestleMania? Now this Raw special, which apparently he was supposed to be a part of and decided not to go to, or whatever it was. Like, if this is the alternative to Stone Cold, give it to someone else. Give it to a younger talent. Give the spot. Give the time. Fuck. I mean, at that point, I'd rather watch Goldberg come out and talk for 10 minutes than watch this guy get booed for 5.
Who is the major sponsor in WWE? Who the major voice in WWE? Because I got to put onus on Triple H and Nick Khan. This is their company.
Yeah.
Vince is not there. This is their company. Who is letting them know? And they're saying yes, too, so they get blamed. Who is the major influence that is saying we need to put Hulk Hogan out there in front of a live crowd?
I think it's not only is the fact that he's doing this whole business venture thing with the beer or whatever it is, but I think it's the fact that he is Hulk Hogan.
And The Rock. I'm going to lump him in there because he's part of the board. TKO.
Well, The Rock loves Hogan. So, I mean, that's
yeah.
There's Triple H wants to, and I actually give him a lot of credit for this too, paying homage to the people that came before and really embracing the veterans, not kind of kicking them out, that kind of stuff. But there's levels to it. There's a cameo, like X-Pac getting a cameo is cool, but I don't need a 10-minute promo from Hulk Hogan about his beer that no one wants to fucking drink.
Couple other things. We're going to move on here, but a couple other things. The dispute about whether or not he put anybody over or not. Again, on the McMahon on the WCW special on Vice TV, the night of Hogan and Sting in Starrcade '97.
He's not ready, brother.
It's not his day, brother. I'm not feeling it today, brother.
He wasn't excited enough.
Yeah, like
fuck you.
Again, we're talking about The Rock kind of sabotaging a long build-up. Imagine building something up for 15, 16, 18 months, and then the day that Daniel Bryan's supposed to win the championship, WrestleMania 30. This is not his day.
Let's give it to Batista.
Yeah, let's give it to Batista.
Have Batista pinhorn.
Like, come on now.
And the Rock, that stuff can still be saved. They still have time to wind the road. And I mean, it's a very, 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 very long story. But this is one of those things where it's like,
yeah. Number 4, look up Randy Savage before he passed away. He has some real thoughts about the Terry. Let's just leave it at that.
The cream didn't rise to the top. Oh no.
We talked about Cena. We got a few minutes before we wrap. Your overall thoughts on Punk and Rollins?
Great match. Again, I thought it was kind of bullshit. It should have been a WrestleMania main event. But, I mean, Punk, when he was stuffing his face with the donut, which, glad he picked glazed. Love to see it. Hey, sometimes the basics are the best, man. Acknowledging that it's not going to be a one-off. He's like, we're going to cross paths again. We have to.
You can tell how uncomfortable he is, though, in those pressers.
Yes and no. I think he kind of, with the UFC stuff and everything too, he got more used to that kind of setting. He also loves to talk. So,
yeah.
I mean, I'm sure he likes it more when he's the focal point of talking. He's not being asked questions. He gets to dictate the conversation.
Yeah. He did. He delivered an early promo of the year candidate going backstage with Jackie Redmond.
Yeah.
That was fantastic.
It was great. But no, I love the match. Again, it was worthy of. If they find a way to get to that, again, I'm not going to be upset at Rollins and Punk at WrestleMania. And I think it would deserve one of those spots. If it's not going to be Punk Roman, then it kind of feels like it has to be either Punk Gunther or Punk Rollins. And I've seen a lot of stuff about Rollins and Gunther having a match. I don't know what that would be for, but...
Were there too many legends on this show? Did it feel like... One of the reactions from the show, it felt like a lot of, like,
Nostalgia.
You have a lot of young talent that carried you into this era here. You didn't need Hogan. Obviously, you didn't need him at all.
No.
Didn't need the Undertaker. I understand the rub and stuff, but
again, it's about let's throw names at a wall. Again, it's one of those things where I said before, it felt very much like a one-off type thing. Undertaker driving his motorcycle around the ring and resisting the urge to smack Rhea Ripley on the ass. I give him credit because his wife was ringside, but I'm sure she probably would have done it. But nevertheless,
right.
What are those little straps she wears underneath her? I don't understand why she does that. But nevertheless,
hey, by the way, MVP of the whole night, Bill Simmons. Hey, man, listen. Listen, that they didn't have to put the camera on. I don't like that.
Wild. But yeah, some of that stuff was just kind of like, I mean, you're just trying to pop something a little bit. And Rhea, obviously, I didn't like how the match ended, like I said before, because it kind of feels like it puts Liv in between a rock and a hard place now. But, I mean, we've had no reason not to trust Triple H with his booking because everything's come around and made sense at some point. I'm hoping that it may be a one-off type show, but it does build into these next few months of hopefully huge feuds going into WrestleMania.
Two more things, and then we'll wrap here. Corey Graves, we think.
I didn't watch NXT, so I don't know. He was on the show.
Yeah, he's 3-man booth. Him, Vic Joseph, and Booker.
What did Corey Graves do to get sent down to hell to have to work with Booker T? What? Oh yeah, man. That's trick. He lost. It's why is he not? So that means it's gonna be fucking Tessitore and Barrett on SmackDown.
Yeah,
it's gonna fucking suck, man.
I would like for them to add Big E if that's gonna be the team. But yeah, that's gonna be.
Put Big E on NXT and put Corey needs to be on one of the two.
Corey should be on Raw because I love McAfee.
I'm fine with it. But I did say those three should be.
No, I love McAfee. It felt McAfee will get a groove at it, but it felt like it always feels this way when McAfee comes back that he's not up to speed with the storylines.
Well, he'll get up to speed right before he leaves again.
So it's like Michael Cole is really carrying the commentary.
If they could have done a 3-man booth there, or they should have just gave Corey fucking SmackDown. Make that a show. That's you and Wade.
They paid Tess.
Fuck Joe Tessitore, man. Why you got to ruin nice things, Joe? We had a good thing going with fucking Corey Graves. Everyone thought he had a fantastic year. He found himself. He's going to be the next guy. God, just go back to calling sports.
I got 30 seconds.
Low T.
Tiffany Stratton cashing in on SmackDown.
There's a huge white stain on our friend Eli's pants when that happened, by the way. Point that out.
I personally thought it was the right time for that cash in.
Yeah, why the fuck
kind of, hey, SmackDown's 3 hours.
Beginning of the third hour of SmackDown, let's make it, hey, you know what? We do have to watch this show. I get why it all made sense.
I didn't think that story can carry to WrestleMania. I think it ran out of gas.
Yeah.
I think it was the right time. I think to summarize Nia's championship run on television, when she's booked in a dominant fashion, I think she did very well.
She did the job.
If you put her in long pay-per-view matches, falls a little short.
That's where the hole starts coming out.
Oh, yeah.
My hole.
It does.
That's where you get into a botchamania.
All right, we got to wrap. A calf score. Anybody got a calf score? Down by 4.
It's probably like what? Like
26-22. Okay. Going to be BA Sweeties. Win or lose for the Cavaliers. Going to be BA Sweeties. Get their candy. Mike from State Farm. My favorite agent.com. That's where you want to check them out. And Megan with Omega Video Marketing. We are happy to be back. We're with you every week on the road to WrestleMania.
Next week is our Netflix debut Raw show, essentially. It's going to be the 1-year anniversary of the Side Hustle Wrestling Podcast. Some new things, some new looks, maybe even a new sound or two. We'll see how that goes. We'll see if we can get that expedited all the way through. And obviously, the hope is to have Mike from State Farm and Strictly Business, Brandon Beretta, both in studio. We do have Mike confirmed for the show. Still working on Strictly Business, but can't think of a better way to kind of take off into the official second year of the podcast with a great cap, and looking forward to a great 2025 with you guys, of course. You make all this possible. We appreciate you watching, listening, whatever you do, however you take in our content, whether it's just for clips, whether it's through the full podcast itself. We thank you guys for tuning in.
It's good stuff. See you next week for the 1-year anniversary. I wish we were on Netflix. We need Netflix money. Netflix money.
We got pulling like New Heights podcast type stuff to stream on Netflix.
Maybe we'll do a Squid Game. Somebody we.
I'd rather not die.
Red light.
No, it's a green light on the camera.
That is a green light.
Yeah.
Squid Games too, by the way.
I didn't watch the first one.
Not a fan.
Yeah.
Not a fan. Rebecca.
I want to know when the squid shows up. Does Squidward make an appearance?
Pete, please end this stream. We're done.